That's one thing I've said over and over again, and you'll probably hear me say, is we voted Trump in. Let's trust him to do the job that we know he can do. Even if I or you don't know that much about the situation, I'm not saying don't learn, don't try to educate yourself for sure. But we have to trust that the person that we put in power to make these decisions will make the right decisions. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. Right now, let's get into these news headlines, check them out, react to them. Let's do it.
Economist E.J. Antoni joins me now. Trudeau out. How do you see this tariff showdown with Canada shaking out, E.J.?
Oh, Stu, I see it working out very well for the American people because we're going to have Donald Trump at the helm, and anytime he was negotiating on our behalf during his first administration, things tended to work out very well for the American people. I think what Donald Trump is fundamentally about when it comes to international trade is getting the best deal possible for the American people because they are the ones he represents. Look, it's not that he's out to hose the rest of the world here. It's not that he's out to do economic damage to places like Canada. He's just trying to get the best deal possible he can for the American people, again, because that's who he represents. And when it comes to dealing with a nation like Canada, Trump understands that he holds all the cards. He has all the leverage here because he understands he can wield the American consumer's purchasing power as a kind of financial weapon on the international stage when almost all Canadian exports are coming here to the United States and only a few percentage points of our exports are going there. Again, it's very clear who holds all the leverage.
The Washington Post reports that Trump will only impose tariffs on critical imports. Now, that's a switch from a blanket tariff policy. It's a big change. Now, Trump denies this change, but if the policy went through, is it best for the U.S. economy?
Well, Stuart, it depends on a lot of different factors, some of which have to do with some upcoming legislation. And I think that's one of the reasons why the incoming president is keeping all of his options open. In other words, everything right now is on the table, whether that's a blanket tariff or some more, let's say, strategically placed tariffs. Look at something like the Tax Cuts and Job Act, which is going to be expiring soon. If that is allowed to happen, if that does expire, you are going to see a massive tax hike on the American middle class. And so it's imperative that the incoming administration works with Congress to ensure it doesn't happen, that they extend that tax relief to the American middle class. But they're going to need some quote-unquote pay-fors in order to do that. One option might be to impose a small blanket tariff. In other words, we're going to shift some of that tax burden away from income taxes and onto imports. That's one option. Again, this is why I think the president needs to keep his options open. There are just too many unknowns. And so to answer your question, what's going to be best for the American economy? It's going to depend on what we see in the coming months.
We have to trust President Trump to get the best deal possible for America.
That's my go at it. I'm not this is nowhere near my lane of anything. I know very little about the tariff situation, but I like to put out there what's the latest and going on and maybe try to discuss it. And even if I don't quite understand it, maybe the listeners here, you may understand more than I do. And that's okay, because I'm here to learn more myself, be involved, involve others, and learn. That is why I do what I do. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. And you're more than welcome to leave comments about it, what you know, if you know more, and I can tell you with the you may know more than me. I'm listening, I'm learning. If you don't know, maybe we'll learn together.
It's the bottom line here, because tariffs are a work in progress, right?
Oh, absolutely, Stu, 100%. And again, how we're going to impose those tariffs, what kind of tariffs we're going to impose, a lot of that depends on what we see in the coming months and maybe even in the coming years. And I think given Trump's success in his first term, we have good reason to trust him that he is going to, as you said, get the best deal for the American people.
He'll get the job done.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again real soon. Thank you, sir.
Learn about.
Sounds like we're going to be talking about old Shifty. Old Shifty.
California Senator Adam Schiff will not rule out the possibility of investigating Trump during his second term. Watch.
Imagine.
We keep a focus on trying to get positive, affirmative things done for the country, but a lot will depend on how he chooses to govern. If he violates the law, if he violates the Constitution, if he abuses his office, we will vigorously push back, fight back, stand up to him, as we had to do during his first term in office. But my priority is to try to get things done for my California constituents, realizing, though, they also expect me to stand up to him when he attacks the Constitution or their freedom.
That's
Wow, wow, wow. That doesn't tell you something there, folks. They won't let it go. They never will. As long as Trump's in office, as long as a Republican that wants to stand up for our country, stand up for America, I do believe they won't stop. They may never stop. This may never, ever, ever stop. I don't know. Where do we go after these 4 years? Who will be in charge then? Where does it go? We have to really, really make some wise decisions here, for sure.
kind of rich, isn't it? Senator Marsha Blackburn, Republican from Tennessee, joins me now. I don't have a specific question, Madam Senator. I just want you to respond to Senator Adam Schiff.
And Stuart, here is the guy who does not have respect for the rule of law and who violated his position as chairman of the House Intel Committee to go in and subpoena phone records, phone calls with journalists, and went after the top Republican on the House Intel Committee. And he would go on TV, Adam Schiff would go on TV and would spread all of this Russia collusion hoax for years. So for him to all of a sudden be concerned about the rule of law and how people use their position, you're right, it's pretty
Evil.
I tend to think that if you're...
Oh no, that's just because we got pure evil working in the world today. I don't want to put that title on every Democrat. And we have to, know and understand that not everybody, not if you're, just because you're a Democrat doesn't mean that you, I think anyway, I'm not going to call every Democrat evil, but there are evil people, especially in the politic world, in the government. Come on. I think that most of the people, the civilians, hey, man, I don't think that they half really know what's going on, and that's the issue.
Democrat in California, you can say and do just about anything you like.
If you're a Democrat.
That's why Adam Schiff is a senator. Last word to you on this issue.
And what we know is that the American people have spoken out. They are tired of 2 tiers of justice.
Spoken up.
They are tired of the federal government being weaponized against people, and they are sick and tired. They've had enough of actions from people like Adam Schiff.
Senator, you sent a letter to the FBI demanding they stop prioritizing a radical DEI agenda over our national security. Have you got any response from Christopher Wray on this? Because he's on his way out.
He is on his way out, and no, we have not had a response. He owes us a response. We want to find out the extent to which they have prioritized DEI over the safety of the public. And Stuart, we saw this play out in New Orleans, and you saw what the FBI was doing there. They had held a DEI recruiting event. They were showing their arms with Swifty bracelets that they had collected. We need the FBI to focus on keeping the American people safe.
Yep.
That should be their number one
Number
goal.
one.
When they fail, the American people are not safe.
Is Kash Patel going to do that for us?
Yes, he is. Kash is a wonderful nominee. I'm looking forward to having him come before
Hope
us
so.
the Senate Judiciary Committee and voting for him. He will go in He is going to overhaul the FBI, and I'm so looking forward to the hearing we have next week at Judiciary with Pam Bondi, who is going to be our nation's Attorney General. She's going to do a magnificent job, and she will reorganize the Department of Justice.
Senator Blackburn, thanks very much for joining us. We do appreciate it always. We hope you come back soon.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for our news headlines this evening. If you enjoyed the show, make sure you give us a thumbs up. Drop us a comment if you got anything you'd like to comment on or say. And hit that subscribe button if you want to come back and join us next time. See you on the next one, guys.